Let's talk about how to solve problems that involve a budget constraint. So this is something we've talked about in class, but we haven't really worked with. And one thing that I'm learning as we go in this new hybrid format is working problems in class together. It's an important part of the class. Normally I would do a lot of writing on the board, and I struggle this semester because I can't write a lot on the board and have everyone be able to see it. But so what I'm going to do, at least trying, is do some stuff on the board in class and also post some videos like this of working through some problems. So hopefully this helps you as you approach things like the homework. So this one is about how to solve problems involving a budget constraint. Now let's say we're given a hypothetical. So this is going to look a lot like the week 2 homework, except I'm going to use different numbers, okay? So let's say that you have a weekly budget of $100. Sounds pretty similar, right? Now let's say you can spend that on baseball cards or chewing gum. Those are the things that you're interested in buying. So we're going to draw a budget constraint showing how you can spend $100 on baseball cards and bubble gum. So I just drew axes, simple enough to start. I'm going to put cards on the Y and gum on the X. There's no magic to that. You could switch them. It would make your graph be kind of flipped, but it works either way. So just pick whichever good you want to put on whichever one. Now let's say we're told that with the $100 that we have, I'm going to write $100 budget, just so we have stuff written down so we don't have to carry it in our head as much. $100 budget. So let's say we're told that if we spend all our money on cards, we could get 50 packs of baseball cards. So let's say we're told that if we spend all our money on gum, we can buy 100 packs of gum. And we can get any combination. That means I'm going to draw a line in between these. I'll draw it blue just for the fun of it to give us a little bit of color and show. So what I just drew, this line between those endpoints, is our budget constraint line. And now we know if there's anything out here that's beyond what we can buy with our budget. If there's anything inside of here, we can buy that. That's in what we call our opportunity set, but we could buy more. If we're right along the line somewhere, that means we're buying as much as we possibly could given our current budget of $100. Okay? Everyone with me so far? Good. So one thing I like to do is think about what the prices look like. So a budget constraint doesn't directly show prices necessarily, but we can figure that out. They matter. They're an essential part of a budget constraint. So the shape of the budget constraint is reflecting what prices are. So if we can buy 50 packs of cards with our $100, what does that mean? That means that each pack of cards is $2. So I'm just writing $2 per card there, just to have it written down. Now, if we can buy 100 packs of gum with $100, that means those are $1 per gum. So I just wrote those prices on there because for me, that's a helpful thing to add. Now, this is where in the homework, we then start asking some stuff, right? So let's say you were spending, well, let's say you bought 25 packs of cards and 25 packs of gum. And we're asked to think about that consumption bundle. 25 packs of cards, that's going to be right here on this dotted line up to 25, so it's going to be somewhere out here. And we have 25 packs of gum, that's actually going to be, so this is 50, this is 75, this is 25, so 25, so we're actually right there. That's 25 on our budget constraint. So if we think about it, how much money are we spending? Well, $2 per pack of cards and we're buying 25 of them. It means we're spending $50 on cards. And 25 times $1 each means we're spending $75 on gum. So 50 plus 25 means we're spending $75 right there. So are we spending all our $100? No, right? We're in the opportunity set. It's something we can do. It's feasible, but it's not spending all the money we have. So if instead we were buying 25 packs of cards and say 50 packs of gum, that would put us right here on the budget constraint, spending all of our money, because we'd be spending $50 on baseball cards and $50 on gum. So something else that can happen with a budget constraint is prices can change. So actually, before we get to that, let's think about what happens if money gets added or taken away to our budget. So the blue line is our $100 budget. I'm going to put a blue circle around that $100 budget. That blue line is the $100 one. If we had $25 taken away, and oh, sorry, you can only spend $75 per week. These are austere times. That's going to shift in your budget curve. You can now only spend $75 a week. So I'm going to write $75 budget. I drew that in pink. And so I'll circle pink around that. Do you see how that shifted our curve in? So actually that spot we were talking about before, that would be on our budget constraint if we're on a $75 a week budget constraint. So less money shifts it in. What happens if we get more money? Instead of having money taken away, we're told, oh, the government is giving us a payment to try to encourage consumption in this economy, and so now we can spend $125 a week. Well, what that's going to do is shift our budget constraint out, right? Now we can spend more money, so that's the $125 budget. And I'm circling that in green so we can see where that is. So if instead of getting money taken away, we have money added, we're at a $125 budget constraint. Now, this is the line we're looking at, right? We could buy 125 gum. We could buy 67 and a half things of cars or something like that. Math in the head, 62 and a half maybe. I think that's right. So those are leaving the prices, $2 per pack of cards, $1 per pack of gum, the same, just changing the amount of budget we have, and we see a parallel shift in that line. The budget constraint moves in if we have less money to spend, it moves out if we have more money to spend, but either way, it is a parallel shift of the line. They're parallel with each other. What happens if instead prices change? And since I'm using markers instead of a dry erase board, I'm going to redraw my axes so we don't get too messy here. And we have cards, and we have gum. We have a $100 budget. We'll leave that as it is. I'll draw our blue line. And that was our budget that was showing us we could get 50 cards and we could get 100 gum. That's what our budget constraint looked like at the beginning. Let's say gum gets cheaper. Let's say there's a good sale. It's a buy two, get one free. So now, instead of being able to buy 100 packs of gum, how much could we actually buy? Now we can get up to 150 because we buy two, get one free. Well, that means we can end up getting 100 that we buy and 150. Effectively, it means our price has gone down by a third, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw, if you don't actually, so a lot of times store sales, you don't actually have to buy two to get one free. Sometimes you do, but let's say on this one, you don't actually have to. Let's say the price is actually just, we have 33% off. And so now, effectively, the price of gum is 67 cents a pack instead of $1 a pack. So we actually have a new budget constraint now. I drew it in orange. We still have a $100 budget, but our budget constraint looks different because we can now buy more gum because it got cheaper. The price went down, right? So here in blue, we have the $1 per gum budget line. In orange, we have the 67 cents per gum budget line. Both of them have a $100 budget, but the budget line moved, and what I call this is a pivot. So I call it a shift when we have that parallel shift of changing the amount of money we have to work with. Here, it's not a parallel shift, right? Because the number of packs of cards we bought didn't change at all. That stays the same. What happened was this line pivoted, and in this case it pivoted out because one of our prices got cheaper, meaning we could buy more of it. We could also think about what would happen if, say, the price of gum, if it got really expensive, maybe there's some weird pandemic shortage of the stuff that makes gum chewy, whatever. Let's say gum gets twice as expensive. Now it costs $2 a pack, right? That would shift us way in like this. We would pivot in if our price is getting more expensive. We pivot out if our price is getting cheaper. So that's what happens with a change in prices in a budget constraint. We see the budget constraint itself pivot, and it pivots in if prices get higher. It pivots out if prices get lower. And it makes sense if you think about it. Could I buy more of this stuff? Yes. Okay, prices are lower. I could buy more. That means we're going to go out further for that good in the budget constraint. And sometimes you'll have one price changing. Sometimes the other price will change. Sometimes they both change. Sometimes you change the amount in the budget, plus you change a price. We're not going to get fancy with that stuff, certainly not for now. So for now, just think about changes in budget constraints as parallel shifts in or out, depending if we get less or more money, or pivots of that budget constraint if our prices change for the goods. And so you could imagine something that was on the old budget constraint line before, like that 50-25. So 50 packs of gum, 25 things of cards. That was on our old budget constraint, right? We were right there spending all of our money. But when gum got cheaper, that actually means if we buy that same package, we have money left over. So we're not actually on our budget constraint anymore. We could buy more stuff now. So we could buy just more gum and move out here. We could buy just more packs of cards if we wanted, or we could buy more of both and head in this direction somewhere, anywhere in between those. But so that's a way to think about what happens when prices change. Prices go down, that's good for us. We can buy more stuff that pivots out our budget constraint, and we can actually buy more of both things, even the thing that didn't get cheaper, because now we have more money we can put toward that if we want to. All right, so hopefully this is helpful. This is how to think about, work with, draw these changes in a budget constraint when you're answering questions. And so the numbers I used here are different from the ones that are in the multiple choice questions, but if you draw the budget constraint, draw where it says you could buy, let's see, on that it is meals and gallons of gas. And you could buy, I think it was 30 meals and 50 gallons of gas. So draw those points on a budget constraint. Write down what price each of those is, which you can figure out by taking the budget you have and dividing it by how many you're able to buy. So then you know how much each one costs. And then you can think about what happens if you buy a certain package, what happens if you get more money coming in, what happens if one of the prices change. If you have questions on stuff, let me know. Hopefully this is helpful, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Thanks.